Aloha everybody and welcome to part 18 of my playthrough of Sonic Colors. You may notice from the video length that this is over 50 minutes long. And it's 50 minutes long because I'm going to be spending this entire part collecting the rest of the Chaos Emeralds, which means I'm going to be going through all of the Game Land stages, and I'm going to be doing all of the DS Special stages. And that's going to be the entire video up until the 49-50 minute mark where I collect them, and then I'm going to be showing you what the Wii version gets once you've collected all the emeralds. If you only care about the plot and you just want to see me take on Dr. Eggman, skip to part 19 because that's all this video is going to be. But if you do stick around, get ready for some fascinating discussion because I asked you guys to send me a whole bunch of questions. And this video will be dedicated to being a Q&A section. You guys sent me questions, I picked out a whole handful that I wanted to answer, and you know, I tried to get to as many questions as I could. Keep in mind I only have 50 minutes and I was asked a whole bunch of them. So hopefully you don't get too upset if I didn't pick out your question, but it should be a fantastic 50 minutes, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started, why don't we? Right off the bat, Ruth McNally asks, if you're Clement J64, what happened to the first 63 Clement Js? Well, you see, I had to cut their heads off so that I could absorb their essence and begin the quickening! We're like Highlanders. There can be only one. Exo Paradigm Gamer asks, what's your opinion on the recent rash of crowdfunding projects in the video game industry, like Indiegogo, Kickstarter, etc.? Another thing I've always been curious about, why do you always say, I'm done this game, instead of, I'm done with this game? Is that another Canadian thing, like Colors with a U versus Colors without the U? I don't think it's a Canadian thing. I mean, I doubt it, but it was just easier to say that when I was a kid. I'd finish a game and I'd be like, oh, I'm done Super Mario World. Oh, I'm done Streets of Rage. I'm done Sonic. I don't know, it felt pointless to add the extra word with, because it just makes the sentence longer, and I want to be quick. I want to speed run life. I don't want to say, I'm done with Streets of Rage. I just say, I'm done Streets of Rage. Boom. You know, I don't know. That's just how I talk. As for the other question, crowdfunding projects, yeah, I'm all for that. You know, I don't have a problem with it personally. I mean, crowdfunding has given us a lot of great games in the past 2 or 3 years that are absolutely awesome. 2014, my favorite game of that year was Shovel Knight. And Shovel Knight started off as a project on Kickstarter. And the only reason we got awesome DLC like the Plague of Shadows adventure and all this other extra stuff that's still coming to the game is because, you know, they got a lot more money than they originally asked for. And I think that's kind of cool, and I think that's kind of interesting. And it's great when developers can get money without having to, like, really bust their ass in order to get it. Like, they just go pitch an idea to you, the consumer, and be like, hey, do you want to play this? If so, you know, send us a few bucks. Boom. And if you give us a lot of money that we didn't expect, maybe we'll get more content into the game. And then we can help, you can kind of help design the game, and there's all these goals and stuff. And yeah, I like this system. I'm fond of it. I mean, sometimes it can get a little out of hand, and sometimes it can feel a little scummy if put into the wrong person's hands, you know. I know there's been a lot of controversy about, like, Keiji Inafune and Mighty No. 9, because he announced Mighty No. 9, and people were like, oh, Mega Man's dead, fuck Capcom, oh my god, Mighty No. 9, oh, I'm gonna pay for this. And so they backed it immediately. It made, like, over $4 million, which is like, Jesus, that's way more than they asked for. Okay. And then because they got way more than they asked for, all of a sudden Inafune's like, hey, we're making a Mighty No. 9 cartoon. Hey, we're making a Mighty No. 9 movie. Hey, I'm doing Red Ash, the sequel, well, proto-sequel, to Mega Man Legends. Ah! And then all of a sudden everyone's like, fuck Inafune, Jesus Christ, just release the game. And it's been delayed so many times, but, you know, I don't know if that game's gonna be good or not. I'm just saying, I like Kickstarter and stuff because it allows developers to have a chance to make the games they want to make. I mean, Undertale, which came out in 2015, one of the biggest games of 2015, Undertale wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Kickstarter, and I think that's pretty great. And you know, a lot of people are like, well, there's a lot of franchises I would like to play again. I want to see a return to Castlevania. But oh, Konami isn't making Castlevania anymore, you know? They haven't made a traditional 2D Castlevania in ages, and now they're strictly mobile and pachinko machines, so what am I gonna do? Oh, here's Bloodstained, this Castlevania-like thing. Awesome! Man, I love Banjo-Kazooie, but now Nuts and Bolts, I didn't really like that game. And Rare just wants to make Kinect games and stuff. They don't really make games I want to play anymore. Hey, some ex-Rare guys are making Yooka-Laylee, which is kind of like Banjo-Kazooie. Hey, Yu Suzuki can finally make Shenmue 3 now, you know? So, I think Kickstarter has its use. I don't really... Sometimes it can be used in a shitty way, but, you know, that's a Rare thing, and I think that it's mostly a good thing. I like crowdfunding. It helps get us the games we want to play. And without Kickstarter, you gotta wonder where we would be without a Yooka-Laylee coming up, without a Undertale, without a whatever. You know, it's interesting to think about where we would be without it, so, yeah. This has gone on way too long, this question. I tend to talk about these topics way too much, and I got so many questions to go through. I apologize, but anywho. Gondarth Returns asks, of all your video projects posted to YouTube, LPs, skits, etc., what would you say has been your favorite and least favorite for your own reasons? My personal favorite thing I've done right now is the Misadventures of Tron Bonne LP. Mainly because when I first tackled that, it was an incredibly rare game. It wasn't on PlayStation Network at the time. It is now. But Tron Bonne is still a pretty rare game. It's an obscure game, and it's actually one of Capcom's hidden gems. I honestly like it more than Legends 1 and Legends 2, and it's such a fascinating creature of a game that I really wanted to do it justice, and I feel like I've done it justice. When I rewatch parts of Misadventures of Tron Bonne, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I honestly think that's one of my best LPs. I felt like my research was on point, I felt like my presentation and the way I was talking and everything was just on point, and I'm super proud of that LP, and I recommend anyone watch it if they haven't seen Tron Bonne before, because I'm really proud of how that turned out. I was so worried that like a lot of the cave sections where you're just digging and talking to those people like dance and stuff, I thought that stuff was going to be really boring, and I thought that was going to be really uninteresting, but I managed to make that work, and I'm so happy I managed to make that work, in my opinion anyway. Least favorite things I've done, again, it's usually just anything before 2011 when I had the crappy microphone and stuff. Like even, I know people like to praise me for like, oh, Mega Man X6, you hate this game, ha ha ha. I still can't watch X6 anymore. I hate it because the microphone is so bad, and the video capture I was using back then was bad too, and it's just, I can't watch anything before 2011. I hate those videos so much. It makes me want to redo everything all over again, but then I'd have to redo everything all over again, and I don't have the time, so I don't delete them. They're still there, but they're not my recommended viewing. They're not... And especially, you know, me as a person, my behavior has sort of updated as well, where I used to say things like, oh man, I totally raped that boss. I don't say rape that boss anymore, and it makes me cringe whenever I hear myself say that in an older video, so... yeah, I don't like watching anything before 2011, I guess. It's just, it's uncomfortable. Dusty Springer asks, who is your Persona waifu? Chie Satonaka from Persona 4. There is no girl that is better than Chie Satonaka. She is best waifu, confirmed. Nikona Aqua Magna, I hope I said that right. That's a damn hard name to pronounce, man. Asks, have you ever watched Linkara's History of Power Rangers? If so, has it given you a new outlook on the series post-Mighty Morphin? You know, when I started watching Power Rangers, I did actually follow it up with Zeo and then Turbo, and then I sort of got out of it after In Space. Like, as soon as In Space wrapped up, I stopped watching around the time, like, Jungle Joyride, or whatever the fuck it was. Jungle Force, whatever it was that came out afterwards, because that's when the show just stopped being appealing to me, and I felt like In Space was the natural conclusion to it all. And Linkara series, yeah, I've watched it, and it was good to kind of relive Power Rangers again through his videos, because then I could remember things about Zeo that I had completely forgotten. Like, oh yeah, Billy did leave the show by joining that alien race. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, you know, thinking about like In Space and how climactic of a final battle it was and stuff. Like, that stuff was good to go back to. You know, I watched it when I was a kid. I didn't really have any concrete opinions either way. I just thought it was a fun show to watch. Linkara's stuff was pretty good to watch, and, you know, I don't really watch anything past In Space, not because he makes bad videos or anything, it's just they're 50 minutes long, and it's about Power Rangers shows I never cared about. Like, I try to watch new Power Rangers shows, and it's not for me anymore, you know? But they're good videos, I like them. Isaac Garcia, aka Aizaku-san, asks, what is your favorite Final Fantasy final boss theme? I had to think about this for a while, and I think I would have to go with Zeromus from Final Fantasy IV. That's when you're in the final battle with Zemus, you pull out the crystal, and then he morphs into that brown tentacle abomination from hell. And that's when it gets into the heart-pumping stuff. I actually used that song during my Mega Man X8 LP, because after I defeated Sigma for the final time, I put in a montage of all the times I had defeated Sigma, and I put in the Zeromus theme because I thought that theme was so intense and so climactic, and it's a great way to summarize how X-Zero have fought Sigma all these years and stuff, and yeah, that theme's just awesome. Even when I compare it to stuff from today, I still think Zeromus is just really amazingly heart-pumping stuff. And that game's soundtrack is just incredible. And the fact that it came out in like 1992, 93, whenever it was. It might have been 91, actually. But Zeromus is so good. Runner-up would probably be Ultimecia from Final Fantasy VIII. I think once that song starts getting going, that song's really, really awesome as well. So yeah. Tjob123 asks, I just want to ask, have you ever been interested in the Hyperdimension Neptunia series? It's not quite as bad as some people will have you believe. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what Hyperdimension Neptunia is. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's good. Carolina Montez asks, just a question I've always been curious about, sort of relating to your WrestleGamia videos. WWE back in 2012, when you completed the series, is significantly much different than WWE now in 2016. With the amount of wrestlers coming and going due to injuries and retirement, and the launch of the network since then, what is your current opinion about today's product? Has it changed much from when you did WrestleGamia, and are you hyped for this year's WrestleMania at all? As always, thanks for the fun content. No problem. When I did WrestleGamia, I don't really feel like wrestling's changed that much. I mean, my stance on wrestling nowadays is that it's not really as entertaining as the Attitude Era for two reasons. One, they don't really have any crazy over-the-top matches anymore. Like, they have pay-per-view matches where every now and then you'll get... But it's weird, they name pay-per-views after matches nowadays. So it's like, oh, coming up this Sunday is TLC. So you know there's going to be TLC matches in that pay-per-view, but not any other time. Which is okay, you know, it hypes you up for a specific month, I guess. But, yeah, I remember back in the old days when there would be backstage brawls and people would get hit with chairs a lot more. And wrestlers just had a lot more charisma back then, man. Like, I would watch Roman Reigns cut a promo today, and he's so monotone, and he's so eh. I watched Dean Ambrose cut a promo. I don't think he's that entertaining, honestly. Like, they're all great wrestlers. They're great athletes. They're great at wrestling. And that should be what matters most, but I just feel like they don't have the attitude, they don't have the promo skills that, like, other wrestlers from the 90s used to have and stuff, and I don't know. It just hasn't really connected with me in the way that it did with me when I was a kid, because how can you compete with Stone Cold and Mick Foley and fucking Undertaker and all these over-the-top personalities? I don't think you can, but I like the WWE Network exists, but I live in Canada, And like, why the hell isn't it on like PlayStation 4 or Xbox or something? I would like to have it on a good service that me as a Canadian can actually watch it on, and I don't have any good services to watch it on, which I'm sure it's on Xbox somewhere, but it's not for me. You know, I've looked for the menu, I can't find it. You know, wrestling hasn't really... I feel like wrestling's been kind of the same way it's always been since 2008. It's been alright, you know. I like NXT. I like NXT and what they're doing. I think that's interesting stuff, but, you know, I don't get a chance to watch it ever, so that's a thing. Connor Schneider, aka Goodman Super 1, asks, "Oh, great Clement, grace me with your voice." Here's my voice. What is your favorite Mario game, if you do like Mario? I'm just taking a drink, just a second. My favorite Mario game would have to be Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii. Not Galaxy 2, Galaxy 1. I thought Galaxy 1 was quite a stupendous game when it came out. I thought the soundtrack was better than it had any right to be. You know, that orchestral score is way better than it has any right to be. The gameplay, you know, it didn't force motion controls down your throat. At least the motion controls that were there were not intrusive, and they didn't get in the way. The levels were not confusing and really cryptic like Sunshine in 64 could be. You know, sometimes you play 64 and you get to like Womp's Fortress or whatever, and it's like, behind the wall, and it's like, what does that mean? And, oh, I could have shot open that corner with a cannon? Okay, how the fuck was I supposed to know that? Okay, whatever. Galaxy doesn't really do that. And, you know, before Galaxy came out, I probably would have said Super Mario World was my favorite in the series, because I love Mario World. I grew up with Mario World. It's so great. But Galaxy really is a pretty perfect game. I find that game really enjoyable, and the reason I would say it's better than Galaxy 2 is because Galaxy 2 has the boulder form, which I didn't like. That's when the motion controls sucked. It had Yoshi, which, I'm sorry, I don't like Yoshi in Galaxy 2. He's not fun to play it with. You know, Yoshi in Mario World, he's fun. Yoshi in Galaxy 2, I don't like him at all. I don't like his hot pepper running super fast up the slope things. I don't like his hot air balloon moments. I feel like Yoshi got in the way of just the Mario platforming that I really wanted to enjoy. And it was also a retread of Galaxy where it's like, oh, well, Galaxy 1 was so successful, let's just do it again. Which, before that point, Mario never really had sequels that were so similar, you know? Like, even Mario 3 is different from Mario 1, you know what I mean? But, Mario Galaxy is my favorite Mario game. I like Mario games, it's just, I feel like, you know, I don't want to tackle another series, and they're all kind of the same. Like, even though I put Galaxy above all the others, I feel like, you know, if you've played Mario 3D World, you've kind of played Mario Brothers U, you've kind of played New Super Mario Brothers 2, you know, they're all kind of the same. They all blend in together, that's the problem. But, you know, that's just how I feel about Mario. Tales of Color asks, do you wear flannel shirts and eat poutine and tap maple trees for their delicious sap, and then sip your coffee and gaze at your snowy mountains as you smile, aboot your free healthcare and your lack of gun crime? And who is your favorite fangirl? Yes. All of that is true. Because I'm Canadian. It's all true. You forgot I have a pet beaver, and that I play hockey. Lots and lots of hockey. I'm wearing skates right now, actually. And my favorite fangirl, they're all my favorite fangirls. Unless they have sex with me, in which case they'll be the #1 fangirl, but I'm sure that won't happen. Running with Scissors asks, what characters do you want in Super Smash Bros.? I only have 2 characters in Smash Bros. That I would want. #1, Simon Belmont, because Simon Belmont was such a big part of the NES and Super Nintendo days. It would fit with Nintendo. You know, Snake was in Smash Brothers. He's a Konami property. Simon Belmont would be great. He'd be like Sheik, only a lot better, and his multi-directional whipping would be so fun to use. And his up B, side B, down Bs with like the cross and the holy water and the axes, they'd be perfect. It'd be perfect. So I think Simon Belmont's an obvious choice. The other thing, I had to think about what non-spin-off, like what non-other Nintendo franchises I would want. Like, if I have to choose a core Nintendo character, what would I want? And I've always been a sucker for the best puzzle series ever, Puzzle League, which is either in Tetris Attack, Pokemon Puzzle League, or, as it's known in Japan, Panel de Pon. And the main character of Panel de Pon is this fairy girl named Lip. And Lip's stick is actually an item in Smash Brothers. You hit people with it and you get a flower on their head. Well, why not have Lip in the game itself? She's a magical fairy girl. It'd be a great idea to bring her in so that we can revitalize the Puzzle League series, because that is a series that absolutely needs to be a thing again. You know, that needs to be like way more mainstream than it is. It's one of the best puzzle series ever. I honestly think it's a way better game than Dr. Mario. And, you know, I just want another update to that. I want like a 4-player update where, you know, we got more Tetris Attack, more Pokemon Puzzle League, more Puzzle League in general. I want more of that game. And I feel like Lip being in Smash Brothers, you know, it's a magical fairy girl. That'd be different. And God, I just want Puzzle League, more of it. I love Puzzle League. It's the best puzzle game ever. Sugarhead asks, have you had / do you plan to have any personal interactivity with your subscribers? And by personal, I think you know what I mean. He didn't ask that. I said that. But, the only thing I've done lately is that back in September of 2015, I actually went to Canada Fan Expo, and I actually told my Twitter followers I was going to it, and if you saw me, hey, say hi, and I'll totally talk to you and stuff. I won't be weird or creepy. And I did meet one fan. You know, that was a rare thing. I never really meet fans. I've never had someone come up to me and be like, hey man, I watched your videos, they're really good. But you know, I met one at Fan Expo, and that was friggin' awesome. That was friggin' cool. I wish I met more people at Fan Expo. Apparently there were like 4 different people trying to find me, but in the sea of Canadians and cosplayers and going through those 2 buildings, no one could find me, and I was too busy trying to like do other stuff. And I also got to play a whole bunch of like new games at the time. Like at Fan Expo, I actually played Ratchet and Clank the movie, the game. And I played Cuphead. Cuphead was fucking great. Cuphead was so fun. That was such an experience. But yeah, never really had a moment in town, in my hometown, where I was just walking down the street and it was like, oh my god, you're the Great Clement! That's never happened. I have 100,000 subscribers, but it's never really happened. So, yeah, only in Canada Fan Expo. I might do that again. I might go this year as well, in 2016. I might go to Fan Expo again in Toronto. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. James Plays asks, have you played Undertale? That game is amazing! In all caps. Yes, I've played Undertale. Anyone who's followed me on Twitter knows that I played Undertale back in, I want to say, October of 2015, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game. I'm not like... I mean, I'm actually a big fan of it in that I love the music. I still listen to the music every now and then. I think that it's got some great characters. I think that the battle system is really unique, and I would love to play more games that play like Undertale, because I like the concept of every time a turn happens, you have to sort of do this bullet dodging system where you're either dodging white balls, or you're dodging flexing arms, or you're dodging a dog who's trying to bark at you. You know, there's all these weird battles in Undertale, and every battle feels different. It's not like you're always just going attack, 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 because there's always this dodging mechanic. There's always this weird... not bullet hell. It's not bullet hell extreme. It's not the hardest game in the world, Undertale, but it's an interesting game to play. And the soundtrack, easily the best of 2015. It's fucking amazing, that music. And, you know, I thought it was really good. I liked the characters, I liked it all. It was pretty good. I don't know if I'm a diehard. I'm not like one of those people who's like, you gotta play Undertale. I'm not gonna push it in your face and be one of those annoying people, you know? And I especially would never be one of those people who's like, no, you killed something! Go back and restart the game! You killed something! Hey, you know, I'm sorry. First time playthroughs, if you kill something, fuck, that's not our fault, you know. It's not our fault. The game is designed with a all or nothing mentality. I'm sorry. That's one of its only failings, Undertale, honestly, is that the neutral ending sucks. And if you kill anything, it makes you replay the whole game all over again just to get a better ending, which is like, yeah, well, maybe the neutral ending could just be better. I don't know. But, you know, Undertale's good. I liked Undertale quite a bit. Justin McDerp, aka Justin Awesome 100, asks, Captain America or Iron Man? Pick a side. Oh shit. Oh man, on what side of the Civil War am I on? Oh god. I'm gonna have to go with America. Just because I feel like Tony's a little too selfish. And Tony, he gives into the military who have bad intentions way too much. And I gotta side with Captain America, I'm sorry. I like Iron Man better as a character, quite frankly. But if you're asking me who I have to side with, like, not just like, oh, Iron Man's a fun character, but like, no, you have to choose. Are you siding with America or are you siding with Iron Man? I gotta side with Captain America, so, yeah. That one was hard to think about. Anne-Marie Ellis asks, if they remade Sonic 2 from Eggman's perspective, where you played as Eggman, would you play it? Yeah. If it's got Sonic in the title, I'll always play it, but that'd be interesting. Going through Emerald Hill in the drill tank, killing a whole bunch of animals. Well, not killing them, but capturing them. And then draining the purple juice out of chemical plant and stuff. That'd be awesome. I'd be down for that. Stephen Hulsing asks, why is it that I get a boner at random times? Well, there's this thing called puberty, Billy. Sorry, Stephen. I'm just gonna call you Billy. Well, Billy, there's this thing called puberty, you know. And sometimes, when you see someone that you're sexually attracted to, it's just gonna happen. And sometimes, it's not gonna happen. And sometimes, when you're not sexually attracted to anybody and you're just hanging out in class, it'll just happen. And thank God I had a classroom desk so that none of the other students saw it, because that would have been real friggin' awkward. I've had lots of moments in high school and junior high that were like that, and those were something else. I don't know where I was going with this. Michael Bertolano asks, when will you decide to do more Clement talks? I don't know if I am going to do more Clement talks. I was really just hankering to talk about Life is Strange for some reason. I don't know why. That game really affected me in a way where I was just like, I have to talk about this game with the internet. I have to. I gots to. You know, I don't know why, but I used to do vlog reviews and then I stopped doing them because I hate the internet. And, I hate reading comments. I don't know. If people would like to see more Clement talks, you know, I could do more, I suppose. Like, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on Undertale, besides what I said in this video, if you want to hear more about what I gotta say about the Persona games I'm playing right now, maybe. Would you like to see Clement talks? Feel free to comment in the comments section. Tell me if you would like that. I'm sure you're just gonna say yes anyway, but I don't know. It's something I'll have to debate within my head. Tex Tepig, aka Metro Gamer X, asks, what is your favorite game that is not from the Sonic series and has not been released on a Nintendo console? Well, that's easy. Final Fantasy VII. I've always said this every now and then. I'm not sure how many people know this, but if Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was not my favorite game ever, it would be Final Fantasy VII, because that was one of the most amazing experiences of my life as a gamer. I still love replaying that game to this day. Even in 2015, in December, the PS4 version came out, where they ported it to the PlayStation 4. Not the remake, but the port. And I played through all of that again, and I got the Platinum Trophy and everything again. And so I've literally just played the game like a month ago. And it's still one of my favorite games ever, of all time. I just played it a month ago. That will not change. I don't care how many Final Fantasy fans are in the comments right now going, "It's overrated, it's overrated." I don't agree with that. I think it is an absolute achievement in RPGs. I think it's got a beautiful story. One of the best soundtracks in gaming. It is such an experience. It is so fun. It moves quickly. It doesn't... It's just a great game, you know? And it was never on Nintendo. It was never on the Wii or the N64 or whatever, and, you know, it's not Sonic, so that would be my pick. My favorite game, besides Sonic 2, is Final Fantasy VII. So, send your hate mail now, you nerds. DTB, aka D-Tap the Beast. Where do you get these names, people? Hi, Clement. So I was wondering, do you record video, audio, then combine them both, or something else? I don't do live commentary for these videos. Like, I'm not actually playing Sonic Colors right now. I played Sonic Colors, I recorded Sonic Colors, and now I'm talking over Sonic Colors. So, how my whole setup works is, first I record the footage of the game that I'm playing, and then I will generally edit that video out so that I know what it's going to be like. I know what it's going to be like 15 minutes or 16 minutes long. And then I talk over that footage. And then I listen back to it. I have to go through the footage all over again with my commentary over it just to make sure that my audio doesn't have any odd irregularities, you know? Like if I start hearing some static noises or whatever, I'll have to redo it. If I hear some odd sound, I'll just edit it out. Like I'll clip it out so that it's not part of the audio. Like I actually listen to my videos and I actually go through my videos all over again and watch them again just to make sure that it's absolutely fine. Like I don't want to upload a video that's got huge desync or that anything, you know. I actually watch the videos before I upload them. And then I just sort of combine them into the editor with the audio I recorded, and, you know, I make sure the audio levels are right so that the game's audio is quieter than my voice at the right times, of course, because I feel like a lot of LPers don't do this. When you want, like, the game cutscene audio to be louder, you know, because, like, if I'm not talking over cutscenes and I want to share cutscenes with people, I actually make sure that, like, the cutscene audio is back to the normal balance it's supposed to be. And I don't want it to be super, super quiet, where like, oh yeah, the gameplay footage was quiet, but that's because I'm talking over it. You know, the Starlight Carnival stuff was quiet because I'm talking over it. But now that Sonic and Tails are talking, I want that to be louder and stuff. So I have to adjust all those audio levels. It takes about 2 or 3 hours to make a video, because in 720p on my Sony Vegas, it just takes that long to make these videos pump out. You know, 2 to 3 hours to make a video, going from 0% to 100% completed. And that's only making the video. And then I have to upload the video, and that usually takes, depending on what's on screen, because, you know, it can be different if I'm playing like a DS game or if I'm playing a Wii game, you know, but it usually takes me 4 or 5 hours to upload it to YouTube. So that's like 9 hours just making the video, just uploading the video. That's not even counting doing the commentary for it, listening back to the commentary, editing the video in the first place. Like, I don't think people understand just how much work goes into these videos. So I like this question because I want you guys to know that, like, these videos don't just appear out of thin air, you know? I do a lot of work to make sure that they're here, and that's why these videos don't just come out every single day. The reason they don't come out every single day is because there's so much work involved to make these videos what they are, and I hope you appreciate it. I hope you appreciate it. Delta4280 asks, are you ever going to do more classic PS1 games like Crash 2 or Spyro? I don't have plans to do Crash 2 or Spyro, but I have a lot of PlayStation games I'd like to tackle. Spider-Man is one of the best PlayStation games. I'd love to tackle Dino Crisis, which is like Resident Evil, but with dinosaurs. That's a fantastic game. There's a lot of games in my library that I would like to show off. I actually kind of want to show off Reboot, because it's kind of a terrible game, but it's going to be a significant game to my childhood, and I don't think a lot of people have seen the Reboot video game. So that's something else. But yeah, I'm definitely going to tackle more PlayStation 1 games in the future. I never run out of games, ever. I've always got so many. Andrew Gallatin asks, if you were in Soul Calibur, what kind of weapon would you use? A gun! I don't care if they didn't have guns back in Soul Calibur medieval times. I'd use a gun! AddieX7 asks, what do you think about speedrunning in general? Have you ever tried to learn a speedrun? Speedrunning's awesome. I always stay tuned for Awesome Games Done Quick and Summer Games Done Quick every year, and I almost always dedicate some time to trying to watch some of my favorites of those speedruns, and that's crazy. Like, every time I feel like I'm doing good in a video game, I watch those speedruns, and it's just like, no, I'm not even close. I'm not even close. And so, would I ever try to learn a speedrun? Nah. You know, that's just not for me. That just takes a level of commitment that I'm never going to have. Like, only if the game was so short to the point where I probably could master it if I practiced enough. But I don't want to have that pressure of not getting one thing wrong, of making these really tense fucking risks. Like, anytime I see anyone playing, like, some of the harder games out there and speedrunning them, I'm just like, I tense up, you know? I was watching one speedrun that was Metal Gear, like the MSX one, and the guy was going for a big boss rank. And that's so tense when, like, if the guard spots you one time, fucking big boss rank gone. And that's terrifying, you know? It makes you want to kill yourself, because it's just like, ah! So I don't think I'd ever speedrun. No, that's not for me. I mean, I've tried with Mega Man 9 and 10, but that was leaderboard stuff, and even then, I don't even come close to what the best Mega Man 9 and 10 speedrunners can do, so no. Kickass Kai asks, why don't you make custom thumbnails? Also, when you got 100,000 subs, did you claim your play button? No, actually, YouTube never really sent me a the play button. I never got a thing in the mail or anything, so I don't know if YouTube knows I got 100,000 subscribers, or if they just don't hand out these buttons to everybody, but either way. Why don't I make custom thumbnails? I don't really like them that much. I don't find them that interesting. I feel like with YouTube, it's so easy to get, you know, concept art of whatever game you're playing, or box art of whatever game you're playing, whatever. And, like, a dude's face, like, looking super excited, like, whoa! You know? And, like, part 1. And then you go to part 2, and it's like the same picture, but except it just says part 2. And then you do it for the whole playthrough, but, like, that doesn't tell me what's going to be in the video. I mean, it tells me what game's going to be in the video. It tells me what the internet personality is going to be like. Whoa! Goofy smile, because I'm a jokester. But, you know, I like to have what's actually going to be in the video be in the video, just a thumbnail, because I just feel like that's better. Like, for this video, it's going to be my avatar in the Sonic costume in the Game Land stage. So that way, when people are looking at the sidebar and they're scrolling through my videos, they'll see, oh, this is part 18. This is the part where Clement went to Game Land and he did that Q&A, because it's obvious to tell. Now, if I did a thumbnail that was just Sonic colors with, like, I don't know, Sonic and Tails running along with some wisps, and it says part 18, that doesn't say anything about what's going to happen in this part. I don't just want the description to tell the story of what's going to be in this video. I want the thumbnail to. And I don't feel the need to add extra words. I don't feel the need to add my avatar's cartoony face right next to it. It's not for me. You know, I'm glad with other people who choose to do that. You can do that. By all means, go right ahead. But for me, it's not interesting to me. You know, I'd rather know exactly what's in the video. So if I see a screenshot of a moment, a particular moment that's happening in that video, then cool. Like, I do have custom thumbnails in that I choose what specific frame I want the thumbnail to be, but like that's about it. You know, it's not like thumbnails aren't for me. I like it how I do it, and I'm not going to change that. I am totally for what I'm doing. Rain Phoenix asks, thinking back to your Mr. Mosquito LP, I wonder, which other random, obscure, or quirky games would you consider LPing in the future, if any? Quirky, I'm sure there are a bunch in there, but the closest thing that comes to mind is this PlayStation 2 game called The Bouncer by Squaresoft. I only say that because it's really anime, it's really silly, and there is literally a move in which the three main characters can literally do wrestling moves to a dog. Like, one guy will, like, body check a dog into another guy, and then he'll, like, get him in a reverse neck hold and, like, break his neck. But this isn't a human, this is a dog. He does this to a dog. And, I mean, to be fair, they're evil dogs. They're trying to kill you. But, if you want to see a game with a reverse neck hold on a dog, The Bouncer is something else, and I would really like to play that game one day because it's short, it's a kind of Double Dragon-esque beat-em-up, but like if it were Final Fantasy. And it is something else, let me tell you. It is something else with its plot twists and the places it goes. It is something else. There's even a scenario where like you have to pretend to be one of the guards, and you have to do like these stupid like dance moves in order to prove you're a guard, which makes no sense, and it's a weird game at times. So The Bouncer is probably one I would do eventually, but not soon. No promises when that's gonna happen. Angel Concha asks, hey, what has been your scariest moment of your life, and which one has been the happiest? God, the scariest moment of my life. Scariest moment of my life? I don't know. I mean, I almost drowned. Well, that's an obvious one, actually. I was at my my cousin's birthday party, and I never swam before, and I just jumped into the swimming pool because I thought, swimming's gonna be easy. That wasn't easy. That didn't end well for me. I was very terrified. Happiest moment, probably when I told a girl I liked her, and then she said she liked me back. I was fucking ecstatic. I probably danced on the walk home. I was so happy. I don't remember being happier than that moment, so... That was a good day. Good day. Darsh Patel asks, how do you like Siskel and Ebert? I know you've got a really old series of videos featuring highlights of the show, and I was wondering just what compelled you to upload those. Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to watch Ebert and Roper all the time in high school because I really liked their views on movies. I was really into movies and critical stuff back then, because again, I used to watch video game review shows. I used to watch Ebert and Roper. I was really interested in reviewing, even before YouTube was a thing. Like, I would watch reviews, you know, on TV. And Ebert and Roper, I always liked how they would handle movies, because sometimes they would be super serious and thoughtful about how the movie is important and how it's like such a great movie and how it's shot. And other times they would trash it in the funniest ways possible that I was just like, this is amazing. And so one of the first things I ever did on YouTube was I made a compilation of some of those funny moments, because, you know, that was my childhood in high school. That was some of the movie cinema criticism jokey stuff that I was exposed to, and, you know, it's a shame that now Roger Ebert has passed away, so Siskel's gone, Ebert's gone. Richard Roper's still doing things every now and then, but yeah, I missed that show. That was a good show to grow up on, honestly. But, you know, that's how I got into all that. It was just, in high school, I watched the show. Shelly Nichols asks, what is your Miiverse account? My Miiverse account is ClementJ64. ClementJ64. Sort of like my YouTube one. And my Twitter one. And my Tumblr one. Yes, I have a Tumblr. I bet none of you even knew that, did you? I just post funny pictures and stuff every now and then. That's it. Victor Lisi asks, is there a game that you really like that most people hate? Well, I'm sure if I say Sonic, underline here, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of agreement there, where, of course, this Sonic game is shit, this Sonic game is shit, blah blah blah. But not counting Sonic games. The thing I'm thinking of most right now, this game gets a lot of shit. It doesn't have a lot of respect. A lot of people look down on it, but I honestly really, really liked it when I was a kid, and I still kind of do. And it's kind of a guilty pleasure, but for me, this was my Dark Souls. Castlevania 64 for the Nintendo 64, I really, really like. You know, if you watch, like, Angry Video Game Nerd or any other people talking about Castlevania 64, it's usually met with a lot of, oh man, the controller's stiff, there's no music, it's really awkward, this is not how Castlevania should be, but I don't know, man. Something about Castlevania 64 just spoke to me when I was a kid, and I played the hell out of that game. I must have spent, like, 3 months trying to play Castlevania 64 my first time, and I still remember all the moments. I still remember going through the castle area with the vampires and meeting that crazy vampire hunter guy, taking on the giant bull, handling the nitroglycerin that will explode if any of the cogs touch you and stuff in the clock tower kind of stuff. That game is still memorable to me, and that game's kind of special to me, even though I know that a lot of people don't like Castlevania 64, but I do. I still like Castlevania 64 quite a bit, so I'm sure there are others I could probably think of, but none are coming to mind right now. So, Castlevania 64 is a game that I think everybody hates. I kind of like it, so I don't know. Not a Giraffe asks, what do you think will come this year in 2016? I expect more celebrities to die of cancer this year. What the fuck's been going on with this year? Oh my god. Lemmy's got cancer and then he died. Alan Rickman got cancer and he died. David Bowie got cancer and died. And, you know, recently it was just revealed, like, Bret the Hitman Hart has cancer. You know, and I hope he pulls through. I hope he doesn't die because of cancer too, because, oh my god, this year's been terrible for cancer. But in terms of, like, happy things, what do I expect in 2016? I got a huge change coming to me where I'm going to be moving to a new town, and I want to change things for my YouTube channel. I don't know. I expect big change in 2016, honestly. When September, October rolls around, I expect things to be a lot different from how they are now. So, I don't know. I don't know what to expect this year. It's going to be really different for me. It's going to be really interesting. So, we'll see how that all goes. El Screecho asks, what game are you looking forward to the most for 2016? Again, not really sure. I mean, lately I've been playing Persona, so probably Persona 5. I can't really think of anything else that's even coming out in 2016. I would need a list or something, and I just don't have one available to me right now, so Persona 5, probably. PuckTuck22 asks, what's your favorite fruit? That would be pineapple. I'm a big fan of pineapple. Shadow Dragon 23 asks, Clement, what's it like being on GameXplain? You get so much hookers and blow for being on GameXplain. It's amazing. Derek, thanks for the cocaine. I'm still sniffing it. It's amazing. No, it's pretty fun. It doesn't really feel that different from being on Brain Scratch. You know, I just come on, I give my opinions, and then I exchange audio, we have a few laughs when the recording's done, and it's all hunky-dory. So yeah, I've been on GameXplain a few times, if you haven't noticed. I was actually in a discussion about Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, and I liked the comments of that video because one of the comments was like, this is the most reasonable and calm discussion of Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice I've ever seen on YouTube. And I was like, yes! I'm one of the reasonable Sonic fans. Good! I gotta maintain this persona. I gotta keep being the reasonable Sonic fan, not the crazy ones. I don't want to be a crazy Sonic fan. Solvo asks, nudes, when, Clement? Nudes, when? I will show you my penis when you show me something else. I don't know. Anywho, I guess this will be the final question since we're getting so close to the end, but sorry I couldn't answer any more questions. But Santiago Scarpino asks, what do you prefer, Streets of Rage or Final Fight? Streets of Rage I always thought was way better than Final Fight. I always thought Streets of Rage 1, 2, 3 were just far more enjoyable. I found Final Fight was a little bit cheap with its enemy damage and just the enemy placement and stuff, where Streets of Rage feels a lot more dynamic. You have extra bonus moves. There's a lot more playable characters. I mean, you could fucking play as a kangaroo in Streets of Rage 3. I mean, the answer's obvious here. Streets of Rage on the Genesis was always better than Final Fight, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, that's how I feel about all that. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I would do more questions, but we're pretty much at the end of the video. This is the final special stage. I'm collecting the last Chaos Emerald. Don't really have too much else to go over. Apologies if your question wasn't answered. There was a lot sent to me, and I didn't really want to answer too many Sonic ones. I'm playing a Sonic game. Why would I want to talk about more Sonic? But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I got all the Chaos Emeralds. All the 7. All the shiny little trinkets that make Sonic... Well, they make Sonic glow. But will they make him glow in this game? Because they haven't in previous 3D games. Not in Unleashed. Not in Sonic 06. Not in Heroes. Could it happen here?
Next stop, the Option Satellite. There, you can adjust a variety of settings for a more pleasurable visit. If you're the self-centered bossy type.
And I am. I am the self-centered bossy type. So, if you've collected every single Chaos Emerald in Game Land, the options menu will start shining yellow, and when you go to it, you can see that there's a Super Sonic option. And, like I said, Sonic 4 brought back Super Sonic after like 15, 14 years. And I'm not counting like the final bosses. Like final bosses being Super Sonic has been a constant. I'm talking about being Super Sonic in regular levels. Super Sonic! It came back with Sonic 4, and it comes back again with Sonic Colors. This never happened in Unleashed, this never happened in Sonic 06, this never happened with Heroes or Adventure 1 and 2. This was so friggin' great. I mean, I will say, I wish it wasn't such a hassle to unlock, having to collect all the red rings when some of them are pretty well hidden and it's just a pain in the ass to not get any bonuses for collecting like a few red rings. Like, it's like all or nothing with the red rings. You need all the red rings so that you can play all the Game Land stages, so that you can get all the Chaos Emeralds, so that you can be Super Sonic. So it's a long grind to get this, but once you do, you feel awesome. Super Sonic jumps higher, he has unlimited boost. They actually changed the levels a little bit to make it so that you don't need Wisps, because you can't activate Wisps as Super Sonic. Wisps are deactivated. You're not going to be Wisps ever when you're in Super Sonic form. So they changed the level design to have, like, more springs or more whatever, so that Super Sonic can actually navigate it. Because sometimes you needed a Wisp to get through, and now you do not. Again, you can just run into enemies, no problem. You can touch spikes, no problem. You're invincible. You're Super Sonic. Oh my god, Sonic Team, I love you. First Sonic 4, now Sonic Colors. Super Sonic is back in a great way, and this is going to be a trend that continues with all the upcoming Sonic games, whether it be Generations or Lost World. Super Sonic is back, and it makes me feel so happy, and it makes me want to squee, because Super Sonic's amazing. And this is why I think the Dark Age is over, because this is a return to form, man. This is a return to the things I remember about Sonic when I was a kid. I'd have to use a hover wisp to get through here, but now there's springs and shit that I can use to climb this giant airship. Although I will say, the music is still repetitive. I wish the Super Sonic theme was just the regular theme, but like times 1.5, like sped up. You know, that's it. But, you know, I can't get everything I want. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you get for the Wii version. For the DS version, we're going to find out later. But come back for part 19. We're going to be taking the fight to Dr. Eggman. We're going to end this once and for all.